जननी जन्मभूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरीयसी।
Good afternoon and welcome to Sagarmatha Television. Sagarmatha is the Nepali name for Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. It's also known as the rooftop of the world. Sagarmatha Television is the first Nepali television program ever produced and broadcasted outside of Nepal in Nepalese history. Sagarmatha Television will show you the beauty of Nepal and its culture. Namaste. This is Namisha, your host for today's program. Before we begin, I would like to say thanks to Sagarmatha Television for giving me this amazing opportunity. And now, as always, before we get into the program, we would like to express our gratitude to our supportive underwriters. Welcome back to the program. As you know, the first segment of the show is Vivid Sangalo, which includes the nation's song, news from Nepal and Nepali living around the world, community activities, immigration tip, tax discussion, and entertainment. Vivid Sangalo is followed by legal segment. And now, we would like to begin today's episode of Sagarmatha Television with this Vivid Sangalo presented by our news anchor, Miss Sharmila Uprati.
अघि बढौँ पछि नहटौँ देशको सेवा गर्नको निम्ति पछि ढिला नगरौँ। उभिएको छ सगरमाथा हाम्रै हिमालयमा जन्मेका हुन् गौतम बुद्ध हाम्रै नेपालमा। फुल्छ गुराँस नाच्छ दाफी हाम्रै वनमा गडेको छ देशको माया हाम्रो मनमा। उठौँ अब धेरै नसुतौँ देशको प्रगतिमा नै आफ्नो भविष्य कोरौँ देशको सेवा गर्नको निम्ति पछि ढिला नगरौँ। फरक भूगोल विविध सिप अनि संस्कृति यी सबैको एकता नै हाम्रो उन्नति। चिनाउनु छ संसारलाई हाम्रा गाउँहरू बनाउनु छ विकसित हाम्रा ठाउँहरू। जुटौँ हामी कहिल्यै नफुटौँ नेपालीले नेपालीलाई सधैँ इज्जत गरौँ देशको सेवा गर्नको निम्ति ढिला नगरौँ देशको सेवा गर्नको निम्ति ढिला नगरौँ। सीताराम आचार्यका यी देशभक्ति सम्बन्धी यी केही हरफहरू सहित आजको यो विविध सङ्गालो कार्यक्रमबाट म शर्मिला उप्रेतीको नमस्कार। आदरणीय दर्शकवृन्द, आज मे 17 तारिक ईस्वी सम्वत 2015 तदनुसार विक्रम सम्वत 2072 साल ज्येष्ठ 3 गते आइतबार चतुर्दशी तिथि। अब यहाँहरूलाई स्वागत छ आजको यो विविध सङ्गालो कार्यक्रममा। दर्शकवृन्द, अब हामी आजको यो विविध सङ्गालो कार्यक्रम सुरु गर्न चाहन्छौँ यो एउटा गीतबाट।
आफू मात्र बाँचेर केही अर्थ हुन्न, अरूलाई बचाए पो केही अर्थ हुन्छ।
आफू मात्र बाँचेर केही अर्थ हुन्न, अरूलाई बचाए पो केही अर्थ हुन्छ।
अरूले केही गरेनन् भन्नु भन्दा,
अरूले केही गरेनन् भन्नु भन्दा,
मैले के गरेँ यसले अर्थ राख्छ। आफू मात्र बाँचेर केही अर्थ हुन्न अरूलाई बचाए पो केही अर्थ हुन्छ
जो भाइ आउ दिदी बहिनी हातमा गरौँ
हाम्रो देश आज दुःखमा छ आउ दाजु भाइ आउ दिदी बहिनी हातमा गरौँ हाम्रो देश आज दुःखमा छ अचानक आउने यस्ता विपत्तिसँग हामी एकजुट भई लड्नु पर्छ आफू मात्र बाँचेर
केही अर्थ हुन्न
अरूलाई बचाए पो केही अर्थ हुन्छ जब दीप जल्छ अँध्यारो मेटिन्छ दुःख चिर्न सके सुख त्यही मिल्छ जब दीप जल्छ अँध्यारो मेटिन्छ
दुःख चिर्न सके सुख त्यही मिल्छ
मबाट हुन्छ सुरुवात हेर हामी बन्न अब लाग्दैन पेर हामी बन्न अब लाग्दैन बेर आफू मात्र बाँचेर केही अर्थ हुन्न अरूलाई बचाए पो केही अर्थ हुन्छ
यो थियो सामाजिक सञ्जालबाट लिएको एउटा नेपाली गीत। आदरणीय दर्शकवृन्द, यहाँहरूलाई थाहै छ कि अहिले हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल शोकमा डुबेको छ। हामी यहाँहरू सबैमा आफ्नो क्षेत्रबाट सहयोगी हातहरू बढाउन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछौँ। दर्शकवृन्द, सगरमाथा टेलिभिजन नेपालको इतिहासमा विदेशमा चलेको सबैभन्दा पहिलो नेपाली टेलिभिजन कार्यक्रम हो। सगरमाथा टेलिभिजन इस्वी सम्बत 1996 मा वर्ल्ड भ्यू टेलिभिजनमा सुरु भई अहिले एमएसजी नेटवर्क्सबाट डीसी क्षेत्रमा नियमित रूपमा प्रसारण भइरहेको छ, जुन सेटेलाइट मार्फत अमेरिकाभरि र वेबसाइट मार्फत संसारभरिका दर्शकहरू सामु पुगेको छ।
नेपाल हो विश्वको लाग्छ प्यारो गाउँ पाखाभी अगनीमा आमाको माया छ भन्छन्। टाढा हुँदा मेरो मनमा
यो थियो हाम्रो दोस्रो प्रस्तुति नेपाल दर्शन टेलिभिजनको एक झलक। नेपाल दर्शन टेलिभिजन हरेक आइतबार दिउँसो ठीक 31 बजे अर्थात् यो कार्यक्रमको लगत्तैपछि यही MSG नेटवर्क्समा प्रसारण हुँदैछ। आशा छ यहाँहरूले अवश्य छुटाउनु हुने छैन। नेपाल दर्शन टेलिभिजनको मुख्य उद्देश्य हो नेपालको परिचय विदेशीहरूलाई दिई उनीहरूलाई नेपाल घुम्न आकर्षण गर्नु, अर्थात् नेपालको पर्यटन प्रवर्धनमा सहयोग पुर्याउनु। अब हामी यहाँहरू समक्ष राख्दैछौँ विभिन्न सञ्चार माध्यमबाट लिएका भूकम्प ग्रसित क्षेत्रका केही दृश्यहरू।
Kathmandu this morning, a city familiar with aftershocks, but a sense that this is something different. People pouring into the streets, wondering if their homes are safe. This was not a repeat of last month's massive earthquake, but it was big enough to stir the deepest fears.
I'm trying to call to my home, but network is busy. It's not reachable. I'm worried for my family.
I think it's a really big hit of earthquake because the gate has also slanted and every pole are moving like that they will fall again.
Nepal's parliament was in session when the earth started to move, a camera capturing the quake's rapid crescendo. After a moment of uncertainty, MPs scrambled for the exits.
People knew to get outside right away. The cars were shaking, the buildings were swaying, and I think one of the most shocking things was how long the earthquake went on for.
Particularly for our Nepalese staff here, it was very traumatic. A lot of them have families and friends who are living in buildings that may have been damaged in the first earthquake.
Today's quake was felt as far afield as Delhi and Dhaka, but the epicenter was east of Kathmandu, close to Everest. It could be some time before the full extent of the damage is known. Paul Adams, BBC News.
The following report contains some disturbing images.
Langtang is reckoned to be one of the most beautiful valleys in the Himalayas, but it is now a scene of almost indescribable horror. I'm on a reconnaissance trip with 2 British Gurkhas to the worst hit village in Nepal. We land at the next village up the valley. At least one British tourist is missing in Langtang, a 23-year-old man. There may be many more. There's lots of damage here, but it is nothing to what is to come. Langtang village was one of the most popular trekking destinations in Nepal and home to 435 people. But there is virtually nothing left. The earthquake caused a massive avalanche and a landslide. It's hard to believe, but 55 hotels and guest houses and the villagers' homes are gone under this great tongue of ice and rock. Just one house remains.
We lost everything.
Did you lose members of your family?
Yes. My mom and my brothers and whole villages, and they lost everybody. They lost their families, and no one has nothing. Now we have nothing.
This is the old village. This is the old village.
This is the old village. Where the ice, over the ice, that is guest houses. But we cannot see the guest house. There are so many glaciers.
So all the ice has come out and covered the guest house?
Yes, sir, cover the guest houses.
There are 52 bodies here. They've separated them into different groups. Here are the Nepalese people who've died, the people from the village. There's a group of people who were working in the village, and then here are the foreigners. And there are 4 bodies here now.
While we were there, they recover another body, a young female tourist. The rescue team say it could be weeks before they find them all. Justin Rolat, BBC News, Langtang.
यी थिए यही अप्रिल 25 तथा मे 12 तारिकका दिन नेपालमा गएको विनाशकारी महाभूकम्पबाट भएको क्षतिका दृश्यहरू। आदरणीय दर्शकवृन्द, हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपालमा आइपरेको प्राकृतिक विपदको यस दुःखद घडीमा हामी सम्पूर्ण विदेशमा रहेका नेपालीहरू एकजुट भई आफ्नो तह तबकाबाट सक्दो सहयोग गरौँ।
गाँसेको अनेक जाति एउटै पुष्प मालामा गाँसेको नेपाल हाम्रो स्वर्ग झै राम्रो हिमाल हाँसेको अनेक जाति एउटै पुष्प मालामा गाँसेको पहाडी वन क्या राम्रो हेर गुराँस फुलेको तराई फाट सुनौला बाला कानले झुलेको पहाडी वन क्या राम्रो हेर गुराँस फुलेको तराई फाट सुनौला बाला कानले झुलेको सुगम पथ हिँड्नु सब प्रगति नाचेको नेपाल हाम्रो स्वर्ग झै राम्रो हिमाल हाँसेको अनेक जाति एउटै पुष्प मालामा गाँसेको चाड र पर्व संस्कृति हाम्रो समृद्ध विशाल एकता अनि वीरको गाथा अमर अटल चाड र पर्व संस्कृति हाम्रो समृद्ध विशाल एकता अनि वीरको गाथा अमर अटल आशाको दियो बल्नु छ अब सद्भाव बाँचेको नेपाल हाम्रो स्वर्ग झै राम्रो हिमाल हाँसेको अनेक जाति एउटै पुष्प मालामा गाँसेको अनेक जाति एउटै पुष्प मालामा गाँसेको अनेक जाति एउटै पुष्प मालामा गाँसेको
दर्शक वृन्द, गत हप्ता हामीले वृत्तचित्र बुद्धिस्ट साइट्स अफ नेपाल प्रस्तुत गरेका थियौं। अब हेरौं उक्त वृत्तचित्रका बाँकी अंशहरू।
Kathmandu Valley is the only place where both Hindus and Buddhists have coexisted since time immemorial. Hindu deities and Buddhist gods are worshipped side by side. A unique blend of religious tolerance, an example of coexistence between two religions. Swayambhu Chaitya. Swayambhu, the oldest stupa in Kathmandu Valley, is also the holiest and sacred pilgrimage site for all Mahayana Buddhist followers from as far as Mongolia, Tibet, Sikkim, Bhutan, and China. The people pay equal devotion to this site. Mahayana, the product of compassionate bodhisattvas, can really be studied around the hilltop of Swayambhu, full of Buddhist shrines, full of compassionate figure of bodhisattvas, full of icons and chaityas, the all-seeing eyes of the Buddha looking at all four directions of the earth, watching the suffering beings and beckoning them to salvation. Swayambhu is really an abode of the bodhisattvas, who even rejected their own salvation and decided to remain in the world to lead all remaining suffering beings to nirvana, the great final deliverance. Aksheshwar Mahavihar was established as a center of learning probably during the 7th century AD. The present complex was constructed recently and is being developed as a center for studies in Buddhism. This is located at the highest elevation in Patan and has a replica of the Swayambhu Stupa. From this vantage point, one can get a beautiful view of Kathmandu Valley. Vajrayogini. The oldest Buddhist monastery in Kathmandu Valley, called by local people as Gumvihar, was already famous before Christ, also attested by the inscriptional evidence. Presently called Vajrayogini, predominated by yogi cult since the 9th and 10th century. This was the central stupa of Gumvihar, now under a temple canopy with a different name of Yogambar. The oldest tradition of ringing wooden bell to beckon the monks to the monastery is still continued to this present day. Bauddha Stupa. Bauddha, another grandeur of majestic stupa architecture. The biggest stupa in Nepal is raised on top of a mandala base and embellished with 108 deities and surrounded by a wall with prayer wheels with Om Mani Padme Hum. Bauddha, a great haven for Tibetan lamas, a place for melodious sound of metal horns and cymbals, a shrine for offering million butter lamps, and a venue for all religious things to happen at all times. Dhando Chaitya. Recently renovated, the Chaitya is the oldest archaeological discovery in the Kathmandu Valley. This stupa is locally called Chavel Stupa and is surrounded by Lichavi Chaityas. Vikramasila Mahavihar. The Mahavihar is regarded as the most honored vihars of Kathmandu city, an abode for Tibetan Siddha Lamas while passing through Nepal on the way to Vikramasila Mahavihar of India and their return to Tibet. The Vihar was very famous for its collection of a Pragya Paramita manuscript written on gold and golden image of Pragya Paramita as well. Only having a glance on them would ensure rebirth in the heavenly abode. Nagi Gumba. The disciplined and devoted nunnery of Nagi Gumpa singles out in the Kathmandu Valley. Belonging to the Nyingmapa sect of Lamaism, it was founded in 1940 AD by Sonam Tenjing. The monastery is located on the Shivapuri hill looking down the Kathmandu Valley. The nuns are encouraged to practice in training of mind and to understand karma, suffering and impermanence. Kopan Gumba, newly established group of Gumbas with the most modern way of learning, where the Gelugpa sect of the Lamas pray in the most Buddhist way. Enthusiasts from all over the world can come here and learn Tibetan Buddhism. Hiranyavarna Mahavihar. The golden temple of Patan is called Kwabaha. The monastery was erected during the historic period of 10th or 11th century. This is the richest Buddhist temple in Patan with maximum number of officiating Buddhist monks and its golden decorations. Mahabodha Temple, the most decorated Bodha temple of Kathmandu Valley, erected by Abhairaj and his family in the 17th century. Each brick of the temple is carved with an image of Buddha, which was copied from Bodh Gaya temple in India. Rudravarna Mahavihar, one of the oldest vihar of Patan. The historical document of 10th century records the vihara to have been established by Shivadeva, the Lichavi king. The vihara abounds in old collections of wooden struts. The locals call it Ukubaha. Ratnakar Mahavihar. Ratnakar Mahavihar was located previously in the royal palace of Patan. King Siddhinarsingh Malla shifted this to the present site for extending his palace building in the 17th century. Despite their busy life, the local people had time to sit and sing together devotional songs dedicated to divine beings. Namo Buddha. About 20 kilometers east of the Kathmandu Valley is Namo Buddha, a well-known Buddhist site. Newars call it Nomura and the Tamangs call it Tamaluiche, an important site of the compassionate Bodhisattva prince Mahasattva. A stone relief carved with Prince Mahasattva exhibiting his compassionate deed of cutting himself and feeding the starving tigress and her cubs. Buddhism did not remain in the south alone. It climbed up to the Himalayan villages as well. Lukla, the gateway of the world's highest peak, Mount Everest. A 45-minute flight from the capital Kathmandu brings a visitor to the scenic Stol airstrip at Lukla. Lukla is also the starting point of one of the most popular and picturesque trekking routes in the Himalayan highlands. A 2-day trek from Lukla brings a visitor to Namchi Bazaar, the center of trade and social contact for the Sherpas in the Khumbu region. The weekly market on Saturday provides an opportunity for tourists to mingle with the local communities and observe their unique lifestyle. The Khumbu region is also a haven for the elusive dafe, the national bird of Nepal, mountain goat and musk deer. The landscape and the climate provide an ideal habitat for many species of rare birds and animals. Situated on the lap of Mount Everest, Thangboche Gompa is the most sacred monastery for the Sherpa people. Sherpas offer worship at the Gompa and seek the blessings of the gods for a good harvest and fortune. Mountaineers and trekkers who come to climb in the Khumbu region also offer worship for safety and success. Life in the Khumbu region is marked by many colorful festivals and social functions. Often, a visitor finds himself in the midst of a festive occasion, such as this Mani Rindu dance performed during the Mani Rindu festival. The faith did not freeze in the mountains only. It also melted and spread out to the trans-Himalayan valleys and plains. Jomsom, the gateway to Mustang, where one can fly or trek from Pokhara. Once in Jomsom, you feel welcomed, and it provides world-class tourist services in food and accommodation. Kali Gandaki, the Trans-Himalayan Valley or Mustang, is a melting pot for Hindu, Buddhist and Bonpos. Although barren in natural vegetation, the area is filled with monasteries, stupas and prayer wheels. Two-hour trek from Jomsom is Kagbeni, an important junction in the north-south trade route between India and Tibet, and the east-west caravan route between Manang and the Dolpo region. Politically controlling all four directions and economically levying all business caravans. Kagbeni is an important confluence of Kali Gandaki coming from the north and River Jong flowing down from Muktinath. Here, Hindus pay their respect to their ancestors and perform the Shraddha to honor them. Another 4 hours from Kagbeni brings you to the beautiful valley of Chuksang village, the boundary of Lower Mustang. Pass through the dark and narrow streets of the village. See the religious paintings inside the Gomba walls. Feel the enchanting Kali Gandaki river flowing underground through the steep cliff of geological deposit. Visit a row of religious caves. People believe it is the storehouse of religious books. Unapproachable now due to its height on the cliff, more than 100 meters above the street. Throughout the trails, one can see the caves in the natural walls, which were used as a place of retreat, a place for meditation, a place for storing the religious manuscript, a place for cemetery, a place for storage, and even a place for an animal den. Hike for one more day, via Tetang's beautiful stupa complexes, and that brings you to one of the most sacred temple for Hindus, Muktinath. Jhomo, the Buddhist nuns, worship inside. Brahman, the Hindu priest, bless pilgrims outside. This is Muktinath temple, holiest among the 4 pilgrimage sites for Hindus around the world. the other 3 being Jagannath, Badrinath and Kedarnath in India. Visitors in Nepal are welcomed with traditional Buddhist hospitality amidst festive gathering and festivals. The most important is the birth anniversary of Buddha. The day is celebrated with music, pomp and show. Here in monasteries, here in temples, here in the capital, here in Lumbini, here in all and here everywhere. Therefore, you are all welcome to the land where Buddha was born, the land of the fountain of peace, here in Lumbini, here in Nepal.
यहाँहरू हेर्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो वृत्तचित्र बुद्धिस्ट साइट्स अफ नेपाल। दर्शकवृन्द, यहाँहरूलाई थाहै छ कि सगरमाथा टेलिभिजनको एक मुख्य उद्देश्य हो नेपाली समुदायमा सेवा पुर्याउनु, जसमा हामीले ट्याक्स सम्बन्धी जानकारी, कानुनी परामर्श, मेडिकल टिप्स, धार्मिक जानकारी तथा अन्य कार्यक्रम प्रस्तुत गर्दै आएका छौँ। जस अनुरूप अब पालो भएको छ कानुनी परामर्शको, जसलाई प्रस्तुत गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ कानुनविद बन्दिता दाहाल।
नमस्कार, सगरमाथा टेलिभिजन हेर्न हुने समस्त दर्शकवृन्दमा म इमिग्रेसन अटर्नी बन्दिता दाहालको हार्दिक अभिवादन। सधैँ चाहिँ आज पनि इमिग्रेसनको एउटा नयाँ टपिकमा यहाँहरूलाई जानकारी दिन यहाँको सामु उपस्थित भएकी छु। र आजको विषय यो चाहिँ अलि नौलो विषय छ, H4 जुन कि H1 को स्पाउसहरूले काम गर्ने भिजा पाउने व्यवस्था जुन नयाँ निकालिएको छ त्यसको बारेमा अलिकति इन्फर्मेसन मलाई दिन्छु। यहाँहरूलाई यो जानकारी होला कि अमेरिकामा जुन व्यक्तिहरू H1 भिजामा आउँछन्, हामीले लास्ट विकमा H1 को बारेमा अलिकति कुरा यहाँहरूसँग गरेका थियौँ। H1 भनेको त्यस्तो स्पेसलाइज्ड अकुपेसन हो जसमा चाहिँ इन्जिनियर्सहरू, डक्टर्सहरू, अकाउन्टेन्टहरू र विभिन्न क्षेत्रमा एटलिस्ट ब्याचलर्स र मास्टर्स गरेको मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ H1 भिजामा चाहिँ काम गर्न आउन पाउँछन्। र अधिकांश मान्छे जुन कि इम्प्लोइमेन्ट बेस्ड यहाँ ग्रिन कार्ड पाएका हुन्छन्, उहाँहरूले पनि H1 को थ्रु नै यहाँ छिरी टेकेको हुन्छ। भनेको मतलब त्यस्तो मास जुन चाहिँ एजुकेटेड पनि छ र त्यस्तो मास जसले चाहिँ अमेरिकाको इकोनोमीमा धेरै कन्ट्रिब्युट पनि गरेको छ हो, त्यस्तो मास हो H1 भिजा। र H1 भिजासँग आउने H1 भिजाको स्पाउस जो कि लाई चाहिँ H4 भिजा दिएको हुन्छ र H4 भिजामा पनि इक्वली क्वालिफाइड मान्छेहरू हुन्छन्। तर दुर्भाग्य के थियो भने अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ H4 ले चाहिँ काम गर्ने व्यवस्था पाएको थिएन। H4 ले चाहिँ अमेरिकामा लिगल्ली काम गर्न पाउने अवस्था थिएन, हैन। त्यसो हुँदाखेरि एउटा कुरा त के हुन्थ्यो भन्दाखेरि एकदम क्वालिफाइड मान्छे जोसँग क्यापेसिटी छ तर बिकज दे कुड नट वर्क, एउटा चाहिँ ठुलो मास जुन कि इकोनोमिकली यो देशलाई कन्ट्रिब्युट गर्न सक्ने एउटा मास, त्यो चाहिँ अनइम्प्लोइड भएर बस्नु परेको अवस्था। अर्को साइकोलोजिकल्ली पनि, किन जो मान्छे केपेबल मान्छे इभन H4 मा चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भने H1 यदि डक्टर हुन्छ भने H1 को स्पाउस कतिपय अवस्थामा चाहिँ मेडिकल डक्टर्सहरू पनि दे आर इन H4 टू। सो एकदम क्वालिफाइड मान्छेहरू तर आफ्नो भिजा नलागेर स्पाउसको भिजाको थ्रुबाट आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ दे वर लिमिटेड, दे डिडन्ट ह्याड एन अपर्च्युनिटी टु गो एन्ड वर्क एन्ड लाइक आफूले एक्सप्लोर गर्न पाइरहनु भएको थिएन। र कति वर्षसम्म भन्दा युजुअली H1 भिजा चाहिँ एकचोटिमा 3 वर्षको लागि हुन्छ र फेरि 3 वर्ष एक्सटेन्ड हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि 4-5 वर्षसम्म 6-7 वर्षसम्म पनि कतिपय चाहिँ H4 भिजामा काम नगरिकन बस्नुपर्ने अवस्था थियो। रिसेन्टली नोभेम्बरमा जुन कि यो ओबामाको एक्जिक्युटिभ अर्डर आयो, त्योसँग धेरै चेन्जेसहरू आएको छ र त्यो मध्येको एउटा के थियो भन्दा H4 ले काम गर्न पाउने व्यवस्था। र त्यसै सन्दर्भमा रिसेन्टली फेब्रुअरी महिनामा चाहिँ एउटा रुल निकालियो, यस अब चाहिँ H4 ले चाहिँ EAD पाउने। EAD भनेको वर्क अथोराइजेसन पेपर पाउने र कहिलेदेखि अब आउने 2015 लाइक दिस 2015 को मे 26 बाट चाहिँ उनीहरूले H4 ले चाहिँ अब वर्क परमिटको लागि अप्लाई गर्न पाउने भनेर व्यवस्था निकालिएको छ। र त्यो चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भने रेगुलर EAD कार्ड जस्तै एउटा 765 भन्ने फर्म भरेर र 765 को चाहिँ पैसा कति लाग्छ अराउन्ड $380, त्यसमा आफ्नो पिक्चर्सहरू राखेर र त्यसको रिक्वायरमेन्ट के पेपर राखेर द फ्याक्ट द्याट यु आर इन H4 भिजा नाउ द्याट यु क्यान अप्लाई एन्ड वर्क गर्न पनि आफ्नो क्यापेसिटी अनुसार चाहिँ युड बी एबल टु वर्क एज वेल। सो यो चाहिँ धेरैजना मास स्पेसली नेपालबाट इन्डियाबाट आउने मान्छेहरूको लागि चाहिँ एउटा एकदम सुखको एउटा एकदम गुड न्युज हो र आई वान्टेड टु सेयर दिस विथ यु एज वेल। र आजको लागि यति नै। यसबारेमा अन्य जानकारी र विस्तृत जानकारी लिएर म फेरि उपस्थित हुनेछु। आजलाई यति नै, धन्यवाद।
Sagarmatha Television.
Namaste, I'm Visa. You're watching Sagarmatha Television.
अमेरिका नेपाल वुमेन्स एसोसिएसन अफ ग्रेटर वासिङटन डीसीद्वारा सञ्चालित निशुल्क स्वास्थ्य शिविरमा डाक्टर महेश्वर वैद्य, आर्यन मन्जु सङ्ग्रौला तथा आर्यन सुनिता श्रेष्ठ सहितको टोलीले निशुल्क स्वास्थ्य सेवा उपलब्ध गराइरहेको हुँदा उक्त सेवाको उपयोग गर्न यस स्क्रिनमा भएका नम्बरहरूमा सम्पर्क गर्नुहोला। आदरणीय दर्शकवृन्द, हामी आजको यो विविध सङ्गालो कार्यक्रमको अन्त्यतिर आइसकेका छौँ। सगरमाथा टेलिभिजन तथा नेपाल दर्शन टेलिभिजन तपाईहरूको सहयोग, सल्लाह, सुझाव तथा प्रतिक्रियाहरूको सधैँ अपेक्षा गर्दछ, जसका लागि हाम्रो ठेगाना हो सगरमाथा टेलिभिजन, पोस्ट बक्स 1400, लोटन भर्जिनिया 22079। हामीलाई इमेल गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ। हाम्रो इमेल ठेगाना हो info@sagarmathatv.us। हामीलाई फोन गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ। हाम्रो फोन नम्बर हो 7039269530। हस्त दर्शकवृन्द, अब यहाँहरू समक्ष नेपाल टुरिज्म बोर्डबाट प्राप्त नेपालका केही रमणीय दृश्यहरू प्रस्तुत गर्दै आजको यो विविध सङ्गालो कार्यक्रमबाट म शर्मिला उप्रेती पनि बिदा लिन चाहन्छु। आज्ञा दिनुहोस्। नमस्कार।
all viewers, this is all for today. We hope you have enjoyed our program. Don't forget to watch Nepal Darshan Television right after this show right here on MHZ Networks. Now, we would like to conclude today's episode of Sagarmatha Television with this beautiful Nepali song. Have a great week ahead. See you next time. Until then, I am Namisha Timsina saying goodbye and namaste.
जय जय पशुपति सगबुद्धि देऊ नेतालाई जय जय पशुपति उद्धार गरायो देशलाई जय जय पशुपति सगबुद्धि देऊ नेतालाई जय जय पशुपति उद्धार गरायो देशलाई हाम्रो देश नेपाल हाम्रो प्यारो नेपाल
पूर्वको तिमीले टिस्टालाई सोधा
पश्चिमको किल्ला कागडालाई सोधा
हजारौं वीरा शहीदलाई सोधा
देशैभरिका सिमानालाई सोधा
पशुपति सगबुद्धि देऊ नेतालाई जय जय पशुपति उद्धार गरायो देशलाई जय जय पशुपति सगबुद्धि देऊ नेतालाई जय जय पशुपति उद्धार गरायो देशलाई
शहीदले अर्जेको देशमा
देशै बनाउने रावणको भेषमा
रोक्नु पर्दछ घुस भ्रष्टाचार
गरिबलाई सधैँ अन्याय अत्याचार गरिबलाई सधैँ अन्याय अत्याचार
तस्करी सारा मौलाउँदै गए
यहाँका शासक हेरी नै रहे
देशका जनता भोकमरी भए
उपचार नपाई धेरै जन गए उपचार नपाई धेरै जन गए
पशुपति सगबुद्धि देऊ नेतालाई जय जय पशुपति उद्धार गरायो देशलाई